All right, so yesterday you went through and you highlighted pieces of evidence that you thought would best show a mood of desperate. I went through this as well and I took notes myself before I went ahead and I decided to write my essay. So I'm going to show you everything that I highlighted and where I made notes so that you can see what you did yesterday was to practice to get you to look at the text as a whole before you go and respond. You can't just go ahead, read the story, and write an essay. It's not going to turn out well. You want to go through and find as much evidence as you can to support the mood that you chose when you go to write your own TDA response based on mood. All right, so I'm just going to show you very quickly. This should look familiar to you. You had these yesterday in Nearpod. So I kind of made some notes here. All right, so still desperate, doesn't want the store, and I'm going to just go quickly because I don't want to take up your whole life. You've seen these already. All right, so this is when I went through, I made notes on my own. Okay, where do you want to go? Amarillo, Texas. So I want to talk about this one very quickly, and I will come back to it because it does end up in my essay. So I want to talk about this one a little bit. Adams is heading to California, but he's desperate to take along anyone with him wherever they need to go. Adams was going from New York to California. That's a pretty straight shot across the nation. So for him to offer to drive her to Texas, that is way out of the way. It's a very southern state, right? So he couldn't just go straight across. He was willing to drive her all the way to Texas. So that's pretty desperate. So I go through, I just try to, made notes. You highlighted a lot of this yesterday. No, you can't go, please. I tried to figure out how to get a hold of myself. All right. I just wanted to show you how much evidence I had highlighted. I didn't just go ahead and pick two random ones or the first two I saw to start my paper. So once you go ahead, and you don't need to circle anything because you can't, it's a video. But once you go ahead, once you get through all your evidence, you want to go back and you want to think, what were my two strongest pieces of evidence, in my opinion, that I can use to put in my TDA response? So I chose this one. No, don't shut the door. Please listen. Just a minute ago, there's a man standing. He was right here. Okay, so that's my first one that I'm going to pick to put in my essay. And then the second one that I wanted to pick was the one that I just discussed about him offering to take her to Texas. All right, so you want to, after you go through and you do all your highlighting, and I'll make sure that I help you figure out step by step what you need to do. You want to go back and pick your two strongest pieces of evidence, not the first two pieces of evidence that you find, but you want to go back and look at, after you do all the highlighting and take notes, if you want to take some notes, which two are the strongest to prove the mood that you want to talk about.